I invest my money in 5 places in this order. And again, I don't recommend what I do to anybody else. Number 1 is into my own business. I run a company called Briefs Finance. You may have heard me talk about this before. My YouTube channel here, Minority Mindset, this is my hobby. I do this for fun because I like doing this. But my full-time job, where I spend most of my time, is running a company called Briefs Finance. It used to be Briefs Media, but we're transitioning to Briefs Finance because of AI and technology. We used to be a media company that specialized in financial news and education, but we realized that AI is going to make us bankrupt in a few years, so we're transitioning to a financial technology company that's powered by media, and we're making this shift now as we enter 2026. It was a pretty expensive, pretty emotional shift that we made because we had to change everything that we did in our company. But because of technology, we are changing what we do in our company, and we're launching a brand new AI and software tool in 2026 that we are putting a ton of money, effort, and energy into, and it is going to be the most powerful investing and research tool that I have seen anywhere. But that is my largest investment, and it's also where I spend all my time. Number 2 is my real estate investments. Now, when I talk about my real estate investments, I'm not talking about the home that I live in. I'm talking about rental properties that I invest in. Now, the reason why I like investing in real estate is because, number 1, it provides cash flow. Because when I buy these properties, my goal is to rent them out and make positive income every single month. That's generally pretty passive because I don't manage the properties myself. I have a property manager who I have trained, who does all the day-to-day work, and then they give me a monthly report and quarterly reports and annual reports. That way I just review the numbers to make sure that the properties are making me money. So the first reason why I like real estate is because of cash flow. The second reason is because of tax breaks. As a licensed attorney, who is not your attorney, what I can tell you is that real estate has some of the biggest and best tax breaks that a tax code has to offer. That's why there are many real estate investors that can make millions, if not billions of dollars a year and pay little to no money in taxes. You may have heard President Donald Trump talk about this. It's because there's a lot of tax loopholes or tax breaks, call it whatever you want, in the tax code that allow investors in real estate to make money and pay less money in taxes. And the third benefit for investing in real estate is you own a hard asset. It's something that I can see, feel, and touch. You can compare that to a stock. When I buy shares in McDonald's, I don't actually own any physical building. I don't own any bricks. I don't own anything. I own a contract, a piece of paper that says I have 1 share of ownership in the McDonald's Corporation. Versus when I own real estate, I own something that I can see, feel, and touch. The third investment that I have is in stocks. Now, when I invest in stocks, I have 2 different strategies. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, you've heard me talk about this before. I have a passive strategy and I have an active strategy. My passive strategy is I have a system where every Wednesday, money is pulled out of my checkings account and it's invested into my portfolio of funds, my ETFs that I invest in. And the bulk of these ETFs that I invest in are for cash flow, meaning they're dividend paying because I love investing for cash flow. My real estate pays me with cash flow, and most of my passive stock market investments are paying me with dividends. And the reason why is because I can work to stack the dividends and I can live off of that income. So every Wednesday, money leaves my checkings account and it is invested into my portfolio of ETFs. Why Wednesday? Because it's the middle of the week. I don't have any secret sauce as to why Wednesday. I just pick Wednesday because what I've learned is it used to be Monday, it also used to be Friday, but a lot of times when you have government holidays, they fall on Mondays and Fridays and then the stock market is closed. So I just pick the middle of the week for Wednesday. Doesn't really matter when. The key here is I just have money constantly going to buy these passive investments where most of them are generating cash flow. I do have some passive investments here that are more for growth and investment into foreign economies outside of the United States, but the bulk of it is for cash flow. Then my active investments in the stock market are where I am doing research along with my team. We are doing research to find investment opportunities where I can invest my money. This is now individual companies that I'm investing in. This is part of some of the things that we do at Briefs Finance is we have investment reports where we are researching what's happening in the markets. You may have heard me talk about Market Briefs Pro. That's what we do there. I have analysts that are doing this research to help me with my investments as well, and now we sell that research because, well, we've gotten good returns out of it. But in any case, this is where I'm investing in individual companies on the stock market based off of shifts that we're seeing in the economy. Again, I'm not a trader. I'm looking for individual companies to invest in based off of research, based off of data, based off of where money is moving. That is what I call active investments. This is more for growth. This is for cash flow. That's for cash flow. Then I have my speculative investments. This is primarily in 2 places. This is into crypto, and this is into startups. Now, notice what I said here. These are speculative investments. This is a smaller piece of my portfolio. This is about 18% of my total investment portfolio, excluding my business. So Here, because it's more speculative, I know I can go up very quickly, but I know I can go down to zero very quickly. I've invested into a lot of startups that have gone bankrupt. So yeah, I've lost a lot of money on it. I've invested into crypto, some of them have gone up a lot. So big booms, big busts, more speculative, more fun, more exciting, but it's a speculative piece of my portfolio. I did not start investing into speculative assets until I had established myself here first, because I understand that this is much more risk for more potential return. But the key is potential return. A lot of people get excited about these speculative investments, meme stocks, meme cryptos, startups, because we hope that we can turn $1,000 to $100,000 very quickly. But that ends up becoming gambling for a lot of people. It's a very easy way to lose your entire investment, which is why I like to think about investing in the fundamental investments first before getting into more of the speculative investments. And then I have a little bit of gold. This is about 2% of my total portfolio. And for me, this gold is really just a hedge against inflation. It is a protection against doomsday. It is insurance, because my theory is if I had $10,000 of cash and $10,000 worth of physical gold, and I bury both of these two things in my backyard today, in 10 years, I think the gold is going to have more buying power than the cash. I don't know for sure, but that's my theory. And because of that, I have this physical gold as kind of a way of saving hard money. Again, not a huge piece of my portfolio because I'm very bullish on the economy. I get it, recessions happen, market crashes happen, but over the long term, I'm very bullish on the economy, but I want to have a little bit of cushion, protection, insurance, call it whatever you want, in case bad things happen. And that's where a little bit of physical gold comes in as just a small 2% piece of my portfolio. And this is where now what I've learned is a real diversification is investing in money in different asset classes, because now when you see a stock market crash, well, real estate may or may not go down. You might see a crypto crash and stocks might go up. And this is where when you have investments in different asset classes, now you have real diversification. Certain things can provide you income, certain things can provide you growth, but it does require more work. It's not as passive as it used to be, because yeah, it used to be a lot simpler. You can just throw your money into some stock funds and some bond funds and be done. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, our economy has changed since then. This is not good for the people that are not willing to put in the work, but it also creates opportunity for more growth for the financially savvy that are willing to put in slightly more work. And if you are willing to put in some more work, you can now start to see more outsized returns. And if you can get slightly better returns, that can add up to thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars over the course of your investing career, depending on how much money you're investing and depending on how much time your money is being invested for. But this is where I want you to start thinking about real diversification as an investor, as opposed to just stocks and bonds the way it used to be, because the reality is bonds aren't as safe as they used to be. We started to see that in 2022 when stocks and bonds went down together. Bonds aren't paying that much, especially after you factor in inflation and your taxes. A lot of people really aren't making any money at all from the interest off their bonds, and stocks are volatile. And if you're not willing to withstand that volatility, it can be a lot harder to withstand. And this is where having real diversification can be helpful. And by real diversification, I mean investing your money across different asset classes. And I've talked about investing my money into my own business, into physical real estate, into stocks, passively and actively, into speculative investments, to things like crypto and startups, and then maybe into precious metals like physical gold. Some people like silver. It doesn't really matter, just something that could be a hard form of money. Again, if you want to learn more about how you can get started as an investor or find hidden investment opportunities, I have my investing masterclass for you down in the description. And if you got value out of this video, the best thank you is a referral. So if you could, please share this video with a family member, friend, colleague, or fellow investor, that we can continue to spread this type of financial education. Thank you. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.